Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plunging into, well, a really fascinating and maybe slightly mysterious topic.
Definitely intriguing.
Yeah, it's this idea from our source material about an invisible magnetic field, not just around the Earth, but around each of us.
hmm
And this hidden atmosphere, as the source seems to call it, might be shaping, well, everything, our health, happiness, maybe even bigger things.
And that's really what we want to unpack today, isn't it? This source dives into these ideas, these sort of universal laws, and connects them to this unseen energy.
Right.
Our goal here is to, help you dissect these concepts, see what they might mean for daily life, and grasp these connections the source is drawing.
Okay, so let's dig into this. The source starts with a pretty surprising claim that humans, individuals, have their own distinct magnetic field.
Yeah, jumps right in.
It talks about this pioneering work by a Dr. Kilner in Liverpool. This was maybe 40, 50 years before the source material was written, it seems.
Right, quite some time ago.
And Kilner apparently invented a special screen, it's described in his book, The Human Atmosphere, that let anyone,
Anyone.
yeah, even someone without, clairvoyant abilities, actually see this human magnetic field. Does the source say much about how it worked? Or, how reliable this was?
That's the thing. It focuses less on the mechanics of the screen itself.
Okay.
It's more about the results, what Kilner apparently observed. And what's fascinating is how the source describes this field.
What does it say?
Well, it's like an atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
Surrounding the body, maybe 3 feet out from the skin.
3 feet.
Yeah, about that. And it's radiated from inside, from centers like the heart, the brain, and also the ductless glands.
So the endocrine system.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the key idea presented is that it's not just some, faint vibe. It's described as a strong defensive instrument.
Defensive against what?
Against outside contaminations, is
Yeah.
the phrase used. So the idea is, if your field is strong and healthy, you're more resistant to bacteria, you could work around sick people and not catch anything.
Huh. That's quite a claim.
It is. And Kilner apparently used his observations for practical things, too, like diagnosing illness, even detecting pregnancy, just by looking at this field.
Wow. So it's like our own personal force field in a way?
Kinda, yeah.
It reminds me of, how television signals are all around us, invisible but definitely there. This source suggests our bodies have something similar, an invisible atmosphere that's vital.
That's a good analogy.
And it mentions similar work by someone named Dr. Frederick Finn Strong, connected to a group called the Church of the People.
Yes, the source briefly touches on that, too, suggesting Kilner wasn't alone in this type of investigation.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it, about the space around us? So, okay, if we have this protective field, what happens when it's, well, not working right? When it gets damaged?
Right, that's the crucial next step the source takes. It explores what happens when this field is compromised.
And what does it say?
It basically asserts that negative attitudes are the culprit. Things like emotional upsets, anger, having ulterior motives. These actually corrupt the field.
Corrupted how?
The source explains that these destructive thoughts and feelings get transformed to a rate of vibration. And this change affects the field's magnetic colors.
Colors.
Yeah, apparently the field has colors, which should be clear and bright. But these negative vibrations make the colors look sick, muddied.
That's a really striking image. Our mood literally changing the color of our energy field. What are the consequences then? Does it just stay energetic or?
No, it definitely doesn't stay just energetic, according to the source. If we connect this to the bigger picture, the consequences are described as pretty severe.
Like what?
It affects multiple levels, not just physical, but also magnetic, etheric,
Yeah.
that subtle body concept.
Right. I've heard that term.
Emotional, and it can even reach into the mental life. So the more the field breaks down, the more vulnerable the person becomes.
Vulnerable to
to external conditions, to sickness, and the source suggests ailments often start in the disposition, like in your mood or attitude, before they actually show up in the body.
So it's like an early warning system that we're ignoring.
You could see it that way. The source uses this vivid analogy. It says a temper fit creates a kind of cyclone within himself.
Wow.
And that cyclone might take weeks to fully clear up, leaving behind what it calls scar tissue in the magnetic field.
Scar tissue, but invisible.
Exactly. And this damage accumulates over time. It even mentions extreme cases, like drug addiction, leading to the complete disintegration of the invisible person.
That's intense. And this isn't just about individuals, is it? The source takes this planetary, too.
It does, yeah. It draws a direct parallel. The Earth's magnetic field is similarly equipped, it says, but it's currently in a miserable state of disorder. The source doesn't mince words. It calls it basically a sewer.
A sewer. Wow.
It's described as this place where all the mistakes of mankind pile up together, all these negative vibrations forming a mass of, well, contamination, damaging energy.
So our collective negativity is polluting the planet's own field. What does the source say happens because of that?
Well, this raises the big question, right? What are the results of this planetary mess? The source claims that nature is becoming rebellious.
Rebellious how? Like natural disasters?
Exactly. Disasters, wars. It connects these events directly to the state of the Earth's magnetic field. It even says cities with all the concrete blocking natural vibrations become sources of death.
That's a bleak picture.
It is, and it specifically calls out nuclear weapons. Claims they permanently scar the invisible side of our own planet.
A permanent scar.
Yeah. The core argument is really simple cause and effect. It's not random, not divine anger. It's just the result of polluting and corrupting these magnetic fields, both ours and the planet's.
Like actions having consequences, just on an invisible level.
Precisely. And it even brings up the legend of Atlantis, suggesting it was destroyed because of similar corruption and iniquities. Historical warning, perhaps.
Okay, so if our thoughts and actions can damage these fields, personally and planetarily, what's the solution? Does the source offer a way out of this mess?
Yes, absolutely. The focus shifts towards the individual's power to change things.
No, sir.
It talks about controlling your personal environment, improving your own magnetic field. It introduces this idea of house cleaning.
House cleaning, like tidying up.
Metaphorically, yeah. Cleansing your mind, your life, from the things that cause unhappiness. Letting go of the idea that doing wrong things can somehow bring happiness.
Okay.
And it actually redefines happiness. It's not about getting whatever you want. According to the source, it's about doing what we should, following the rules of living.
So doing the right thing, basically. How does that translate practically?
Well, the source talks about discipline. Sometimes doing things that aren't immediately fun or pleasurable.
Right. Discipline isn't always easy.
No, but it's presented as necessary for growth, for well-being, and finding peace,
Right.
which isn't just lack of noise, but a quietude based upon the realization of the purpose of nature.
And this inner peace affects the body.
Directly. It leads to better physical health, it says. Normal heart function, improved circulation, digestion, things like that.
Yeah.
It loops back to the negative impacts.
The anger, the ulterior motives.
Exactly. It reiterates that those things create negative vibrations, harming the field. So constructive attitudes are key.
It sounds like a very holistic view of health. And it seems to take a long view, too.
It does. The source frames every experience, even difficult ones, as a lesson for growth.
So you can't just avoid pain.
Trying to avoid pain without addressing the cause is ultimately impossible, it says. But living right, cultivating these positive qualities, provides an armor of righteousness.
So that's the strong magnetic field again.
Precisely. That strong field protects you against both visible problems and these invisible corruptions.
Is it all just down to the individual then? This house cleaning?
Not entirely. That's an important point. The source also talks about the power of collective cooperation.
How does that work?
Individuals working together for constructive goals that can actually help heal the planetary magnetic field too.
So positive collective action has a real energetic impact.
That's the idea. It suggests things like religion, music, art. These are essentially magnetic patterns that help perpetuate beauty and harmony.
Interesting.
The source argues that fundamentally everything works for harmony. It's just that humans often get in the way. Man will not permit it, is the phrase.
Why not?
It suggests humanity is kind of in a delirium, living in a world of illusions, trying to bend the world to our own desires, often at the expense of others.
That sounds familiar.
Doesn't it? So the ultimate goal, the path to true happiness, which the source calls normalcy, is to transform every action, everything we do, into an expression of becoming better.
Wow. Okay. This deep dive has really shown a light on this idea of interconnectedness, hasn't it? How our inner world seems to resonate outwards, affecting us, others, even the planet itself.
It's a profound perspective, connecting our personal state, our health, our happiness directly to these invisible fields and the larger world.
So much to think about there.
And maybe here's one final thought from the source for you to chew on after this. It states pretty clearly that we can't fix this invisible world through external things, like politics or elections alone.
No. Then how?
Only through the correction of the mistake. By getting back to the natural pattern which we were intended to live.
The natural
And
pattern.
it boils down to this. The only way to be healthy is to be healthy yourself. No one else can bestow this upon you. It's fundamentally an inside job.
That really puts the responsibility back on us, doesn't it? So as you go about your day, maybe consider, how will you choose to cultivate your own magnetic field? How might you contribute to that house cleaning the source suggests is so vital? Something to reflect on.